She stepped onto the red carpet with her signature grace, diamonds sparkling, a calm smile painted on her face. But behind that practiced smile, Hollywood insiders say, was heartbreak 19 years in the making. Just 4 days after officially filing for divorce from Keith Urban, Nicole Kidman appeared in public for the first time. Not for a premiere, not for a photo shoot, but for a cause close to her heart. Cameras flashed, fans cheered, but everyone watching could feel it. Something had changed. For nearly 2 decades, Nicole and Keith were one of Hollywood's most unshakable love stories. The elegant actress and the country star who seemed destined to defy the odds. But now that fairy tale had quietly shattered. And yet, in true Nicole fashion, she didn't retreat. She rose. At a charity gala in Dallas, she stood poised, polished, and unbreakable, showing the world what grace under heartbreak really looks like. But the truth behind that calm expression, that's where things get complicated. Because while the cameras saw a confident woman in couture, those close to her say this night wasn't about glamour at all. It was about reclaiming control of her story. And as we'll uncover next, this wasn't a sudden decision. It was the ending of something she'd been fighting to save for months. But that was only the beginning of Nicole's quiet transformation. It started quietly. No public statement, no dramatic announcement, just a few lines filed in a Nashville courthouse that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. On September 30th, Nicole Kidman officially filed for divorce from Keith Urban, citing irreconcilable differences. After 19 years of marriage, one of the industry's longest-running love stories had come to an end. Insiders later revealed that the separation had begun much earlier, sometime over the summer. But Nicole had reportedly kept it private, hoping things might still be fixed behind closed doors. When the filing finally became public, fans were stunned. This was the couple everyone believed had beaten the Hollywood odds. 19 years of shared stages, red carpets, and quiet family moments, all reduced to a legal document. Nicole's filing also included one particularly revealing detail. She requested to be the primary residential parent of their 2 daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret. That one line said more than any press release ever could. Those close to the family told people that Nicole had been stressed, knowing the news would eventually break, dreading the day the world would learn her marriage was truly over. But once it was out, she handled it with the same calm and composure that have defined her career. Still, behind that calm exterior, there's no denying the heartbreak. Nearly 2 decades together, countless interviews where they spoke of deep love and mutual respect, all undone by something even they couldn't repair. But how did it all fall apart? What happened between them that led to this quiet, painful ending? That's where the story begins to unravel, because according to insiders, Nicole didn't walk away easily, and what she went through in those final months will surprise you. Behind the glamour and the smiles, there was a quiet storm brewing, one that very few people saw coming. Sources close to Nicole say she had been fighting to save her marriage long before the public knew there was trouble. What the world saw as red carpet perfection was in truth a slow unravelling that began months earlier. Insiders told people that Nicole didn't want this, and that even as the emotional distance grew, she was holding on, hoping time, therapy, or sheer love could pull them back together. But sometimes even the strongest love runs out of road. Those closest to her describe long stretches of separation, where their lives seemed to move in opposite directions. Keith on tour, Nicole on set, both consumed by demanding careers that rarely overlapped. It's said that the couple tried to bridge the gap. Late-night calls, short visits, public appearances meant to quiet speculation. But behind closed doors, the tension was undeniable. The smiles got shorter, the silences longer. Fans who followed their love story remember the early days, their emotional interviews, how Keith once called Nicole his saving grace. That kind of devotion doesn't disappear overnight, which is why, according to friends, Nicole's final decision wasn't made in anger. It was made in heartbreak. Rumours began to swirl that she had been the one putting in most of the effort, that the imbalance had quietly broken her spirit. And when the distance became impossible to ignore, she made the hardest choice of her life, to let go of a love she still cared deeply for. But rather than retreat into sadness, Nicole chose to face the world head-on. Her next move caught everyone off guard, a public appearance just days later, radiating strength when everyone expected tears. And that moment, that calm, powerful re-emergence, became the talk of Hollywood. 4 days after the papers were filed, Nicole Kidman did something no one expected. She stepped back into the spotlight. No tearful interviews, no cryptic social media posts, just quiet confidence and unshakable grace. At a time when most would hide from the headlines, Nicole faced them head-on. She arrived at the amFAR gala in Dallas, looking effortlessly poised, her smile soft, her posture composed, her presence commanding. It wasn't the look of a woman broken by heartbreak. It was the look of a woman reclaiming her power. Observers couldn't help but notice her calm energy. This was her first public appearance since the divorce news broke, and yet she seemed peaceful, almost serene. It was as if she had made peace with the pain, choosing strength over sorrow. Insiders later revealed that this event wasn't just another charity night for her. It was symbolic. Nicole wanted to show the world that even when life collapses behind the scenes, you can still stand tall in the spotlight. That appearance wasn't about fashion or publicity. It was about resilience. Fans quickly flooded social media with messages of admiration. Some called her a vision of grace, while others said it reminded them why she's considered one of Hollywood's most timeless icons. Even after nearly 2 decades of marriage had just ended, she radiated composure. But beneath that composure, people close to her say the emotions were still raw. This was a woman who had spent years building a life, now learning how to start over. Still, that night proved one thing. Nicole Kidman wasn't going to let heartbreak define her. And as she stood before the cameras, few realised that this wasn't just an appearance. It was a statement. Because behind the elegance and the diamonds, there was quiet defiance. And when she stepped onto that stage in Dallas, the world saw a glimpse of the new Nicole, one who was done hiding her pain and ready to rise from it. The Dallas evening was glittering with stars, but all eyes were on Nicole Kidman. The amFAR Gala, a prestigious event dedicated to supporting AIDS research, became her stage for a powerful comeback. Dressed in a sleek, understated gown that shimmered under the lights, she embodied quiet strength. There was no trace of sadness, no hint of the heartbreak she had just endured. Only composure, confidence, and that signature elegance that has defined her for decades. Nicole wasn't just attending, she was presenting. In front of a packed audience, she took the stage to honour her Lioness collaborator, Taylor Sheridan, with the Knight's Award of Inspiration. Her voice was calm, her tone measured, and yet there was something deeper beneath her words, the poise of a woman who refuses to be defined by tragedy. The audience rose in applause. Taylor Sheridan, best known for creating Yellowstone, embraced her warmly, and the moment carried a weight that fans online couldn't ignore. It wasn't just a professional gesture, it was a glimpse into Nicole's resilience. Even amid emotional chaos, she stood tall, celebrating creativity, partnership, and cause. The guest list was stacked with legends: Diana Ross, Terry Hatcher, Dirk Nowitzki, but somehow Nicole managed to stand out effortlessly. It wasn't about the dress or the diamonds, it was about her energy. Every movement, every smile, every word spoken at that podium seemed deliberate, grounded, and deeply human. Insiders say this appearance wasn't random. It had been planned before the divorce became public, but Nicole made the bold decision to attend anyway. She could have cancelled, stayed home, avoided the press. Instead, she showed up. Because for her, this night wasn't about distraction, it was about dignity. And as the flashes went off, one thing became clear. Nicole Kidman wasn't there to escape her heartbreak. She was there to show the world that even in the middle of it, she still shines. But what truly caught fans' attention that night wasn't just her grace. It was who stood beside her, and the whispers that followed. When Nicole stepped on stage beside Taylor Sheridan, the air seemed to shift. Their chemistry, respectful, warm, and effortlessly natural, didn't go unnoticed. Taylor, the creative mind behind Yellowstone and Nicole's collaborator on Lioness, has long been someone she admired professionally. But after the gala, the internet had other ideas. Fans flooded social media with speculation, reading between every glance, every smile. There's something deeper there, some whispered. They look too comfortable, others claimed. Of course, there's no confirmation of anything beyond work, but the timing of their closeness, coming right after her. The truth, according to people close to the production, is far less scandalous and far more telling. Nicole and Taylor share a deep creative respect. Lioness pushed both of them artistically, and their partnership has been described as intense but professional. Taylor's known for his demanding creative style, and Nicole thrives in that environment. Together, they created something raw, cinematic, and emotionally charged, the kind of work that blurs the line between performance and personal truth. Still, fans couldn't help but point out the symbolism. Nicole, newly single, standing tall next to a powerful collaborator who clearly believes in her talent. The image alone sparked thousands of online comments, calling her appearance a soft reintroduction, a power move, and even a quiet message to Keith. Whether coincidence or not, the optics were powerful. Here was Nicole, no longer defined by her marriage, presenting an award to a man she worked with on a project about resilience, female strength, and survival. Some say it was pure professionalism, others think it was poetic timing. Whatever the truth is, one thing's certain. That moment with Taylor Sheridan reignited the narrative around Nicole Kidman. Not as Keith Urban's wife, not as a woman recovering from heartbreak, but as a force in her own right. And as the night ended, that message echoed louder than any rumour. Nicole Kidman wasn't mourning her past. She was stepping into her power. In the days following the gala, Nicole Kidman retreated from the spotlight, not to hide, but to heal. And she wasn't alone. Her family, especially her sister Antonia, became her anchor during one of the hardest transitions of her life. Just a day after the divorce news broke, Nicole was spotted walking quietly through the streets of Nashville with Antonia by her side. No entourage, no makeup team, no Hollywood gloss, just two sisters talking, sharing quiet comfort away from the noise. For fans, that image said it all. Behind the red carpets and flashing cameras, Nicole was simply a woman leaning on family, finding strength in love that doesn't fade. Insiders told People that the entire Kidman family has come together to support one another, especially Nicole and her two daughters, Sunday Rose, 17, and Faith Margaret, 14. Nicole's top priority has been protecting them, keeping their lives as normal and stable as possible amid the media frenzy. That's why, in her divorce filing, she asked to be the primary residential parent, not out of control, but out of care. Friends say she's been surprisingly calm through it all. While the world dissected her heartbreak, Nicole focused inward, meditating, spending time with her girls, and surrounding herself with the few people she fully trusts. Now that it's out, she's focused on what's ahead. One source shared: her daughters, her work, her peace. It's this quiet resilience that's always defined her. Whether it was rebuilding after a high-profile split years ago or navigating the pressures of fame, Nicole has never been the kind to crumble publicly. She absorbs the pain, learns from it, and somehow comes back stronger. This time is no different. Those close to her say that, while she didn't want this divorce, she's slowly finding a strange kind of relief. The freedom to live life on her own terms again. The woman who once built her world around love and family is now rediscovering herself. And if history's any guide, Nicole Kidman doesn't just survive heartbreak, she transforms through it. So what comes next for Nicole Kidman? After nearly 2 decades of shared fame, love, and family, she's now standing at the edge of a new beginning. One that's both terrifying and liberating. Those close to her say she's not rushing into anything. Not new projects, not new relationships, not public statements. For now, she's focused on balance, time with her daughters, her faith, her inner peace. It's a season of quiet rebuilding. She's been described as calm, clear, and surprisingly grounded, a sign that she's ready to move forward, but at her own pace. Professionally, she's still unstoppable. With Lioness and multiple upcoming film projects, Nicole isn't stepping back, she's stepping up. Industry insiders believe this next chapter could be one of her most powerful yet, not just because of her talent, but because of the emotional depth that comes from everything she's endured. This isn't a comeback, it's an evolution. As for her personal life, friends say she's keeping her circle small and her heart guarded. After years of living under public scrutiny, she's learned to protect her peace above all else. There are whispers that she's even exploring writing and producing more, focusing on female-led stories that mirror her own resilience and growth. And maybe that's the most beautiful part of this chapter. Nicole isn't trying to prove anything anymore. She's no longer the heartbroken wife or the picture-perfect Hollywood icon. She's simply herself, strong, independent, and finally free to live on her own terms. At the amFAR gala, she reminded the world that grace doesn't mean weakness. It means power with restraint. And now, as she steps into this new life, she's doing what she's always done best. Turning pain into purpose. Because sometimes the most powerful rebirths happen quietly, in the moments when no one's watching. And that's where Nicole Kidman stands today, not broken, not defeated, but reborn. Under the soft glow of the Dallas night, Nicole Kidman showed the world something far more powerful than a perfect marriage or a polished red carpet moment. She showed resilience. In just a few days, she went from signing divorce papers to standing tall before an audience, poised and radiant, carrying herself with the kind of grace that only comes from surviving heartbreak. 19 years of love, laughter, and shared life had ended, but Nicole didn't let it end her. She faced it with quiet dignity, showing that even in the most painful transitions, there's beauty in composure and power in silence. Fans saw a woman who refused to crumble, who chose empathy over bitterness and purpose over pain. And maybe that's why her story resonates so deeply. Because we've all known the feeling of watching something precious fall apart. But not everyone has the courage to keep walking forward with their head held high. Nicole did. Now she's entering a new chapter. One not defined by who she was married to, but by who she's becoming. A woman who stands on her own, fueled by strength, grounded by family, and focused on peace. So as the world watches her next move, one question lingers. Was this the end of a love story, or the beginning of Nicole's greatest transformation yet? Tell us what you think in the comments below. Did Nicole Kidman make the right choice by walking away, or do you believe some love stories are worth one more try? And if you want to follow the next chapter of Hollywood's most powerful women, hit subscribe because Nicole's story is far from over.